Okay. Let's do it again. Campfire story number 5. I think the last one I said it was number 5, but it was actually 4, and my numbering system for these things, especially on my laptop, is not exactly accurate, but I'm getting better at it. Daniel again. Let's talk about retreat. Let's talk about retreat. Students, anyone listening to me that wears a band uniform for a living, you know about retreat. You know how fun and awesome and great and wonderful it can be. However, sometimes band retreats can go wrong. Sometimes they get a little real. So I'm going to talk about one of those times when it gets a little real. I was a drum major at my band program my senior year. In my junior year, I was what they called back then a field conductor, which is basically an assistant drum major. I still got my name announced at the contests, by Dan Potter and Chuck Henson and all those awesome people. So my senior year, our directors came up to us and said, "Hey, we're going to do something a little bit different for you guys. Before we do the Bands of America Arlington Regional, which was, usually our first contest of the year, they said, we're going to do a local contest. We're going to do something called the Rough Rider Contest in San Antonio. It's a very famous local contest. It's been going on for over 30 years. It's a UIL-based contest in terms of timing and judging and all that stuff. We had never gone to it. I don't think we had gone to it in quite a while. So we thought, okay, let's go there and do that. And then the plan was we would go do the contest. There's no prelims, there's no finals. It's just a schedule. It starts at 8 o'clock or like 9 o'clock in the morning. You play through the schedule, and then they give out awards like around 3:30 in the afternoon. After the contest, we would head over to Easy's. People in San Antonio, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about Easy's on 281 and Bitters. Gotta love those calzones, right? We go to Easy's, eat lunch there for like 2 hours. Then we got to head back to the exact same stadium we had just performed in to do the football game that night. It was one of these things. Our directors billed it to us as, a test of our physical and mental demand and stuff like that. And we were pretty gassed at the end of the day. You did not want. I hope there's not a video of our football performance that night because it was not good. So that was going to be the day. Cool. So we go out there. We do the early contest. We perform at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We did not have our whole show on the field. In fact, we stood and played the closer, like 2 minutes of the closer in a block, just standing there, not moving, just standing there. We didn't even have a color guard on the field. In fact, the color guard was back at the school learning material while we were on the field performing at a contest. And we knew, and our directors were very good about telling us, hey, we're not going to have all the material on the field, so understand that we're doing this just to get a performance out there and get you guys accustomed to performing in a stadium. Cool. We weren't expecting much. We ended up getting second place at that contest in our class, and I guess overall. The way the contest does their class ranks is they do it by number of people in the band, not counting the color guard. The band we ended up losing to was a local program. I'm not going to say who it was. You can look up that information for yourself. And their head drum major was a guy that I knew through the George N. Parks Drum Major Academy. And if you don't know who this guy is, look him up, because talk about extreme motivation and just a total inspiration. George Parks was the drum major. He was the man. He is what I based all of my performances off of as a drum major. Incredible guy, massive energy all the time, go, go, go. An incredible guy. So I got to go to the George N. Parks Drum Major Academy the summer of my senior year. And it was one of those things where the school paid for it. They sent me off to Huntsville, Texas. That's a place where they execute people in Texas. Sam Houston State University. I actually got to stay at one of the frat houses, because the frat houses empty out for the summer or whatever. There's like a big fraternity row that's in Sam Houston State. Got to stay in there. And it's like 150 drum majors, and they're coming from all over the state. And George Parks did this drum major academy all over the country. So he came to Sam Houston State. Cool. Well, you go to this thing, and you've got a big old badge on, or a big old lanyard with a badge on. It says your name and the school you go to. And because we had a couple, we had been successful over the years, people would come up to me and, hey, you go to this school, or I would go up to other people and say, hey, you went to this school, you guys are great, and we'd talk about, it was just a big band nerd fest, basically. So one of the people I ended up becoming friends with was the drum major of this program, who ended up beating us. It was super cool, and we would sit around and joke and laugh and talk and all this stuff, and I did that with a lot of people over there during the Drum Major Academy stuff. Write their names down and phone numbers, and like, hey man, let's keep in touch, or hey, let's keep in touch, all this stuff. Very cordial, very nice, everything. It was like, hey man, good. When it was time to go, we knew we were going to go be at the contest together and everything. I say, hey man, good luck, wish you the best, and go out there and kick some butt. Said the same thing to me. Awesome. Shook hands. Good to go. Fast forward to that Rough Rider contest. We're doing retreat. Now, there was not a full band retreat. It was just drum majors. Our band, in fact, my band wasn't even in the stands during retreat. They were on the school buses waiting for myself and my assistant drum major to finish retreat, get whatever rewards we were getting, get on the bus, so we can go eat at Easy's. Man, I miss that place. So we do the retreat. We get announced second place. Cool. Do the salute, shake hands, big smile on my face. Awesome. The other program ends up winning the contest. And their band was in the crowd. Understandably, they're going absolutely crazy. And I was happy for them. No bitterness at all whatsoever. So they tell us to break ranks. So I go around, I shake everyone's hand. Hey, good show. Hey, good show. Everything's totally cool. Then I get to my friend, I should say former friend, who is the drum major of the band that won. It's like, hey man, how's it? Hey man, great show, great job. I extend my hand. He looks right at me. He puts both hands on my shoulder and he shoves me out of the way. So he could go run up to his program and go celebrate with them. I mean, he looked right at me too. And I'm not saying like it was a huge thing where he like shoved me to the ground or everything. It was one of those things that was like, clearly this guy is saying, get out of my way. And my assistant drum major was right behind me, and she kind of looked at me like, well, that was weird. And I thought, okay, that was weird too. But I thought, okay, what am I going to do? So that happened. I got to compete against this guy, or his program, again. Area contest. The exact same stadium. Comalander Stadium in San Antonio. Back then, area contest, and I think they changed this the year after, or 2 years after. Area contest in the state of Texas used to be just one contest. There was no prelims, and then you do a retreat, and then they take the top 10, and then you get to perform in finals. No, it literally went from 7:30 in the morning all the way until about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. You get one performance, that's it, and then they choose the 4 or 5 or 6 programs that go on from area to state. That was insane. And UIL took a little bit of flack for doing contests that way. Now you do prelims and finals and you do that whole thing, which is great. So I get to compete against this guy again. We end up making state. His program did not. But me, being the awesome, bigger person that I am, we do the retreat. It was just drum major retreat again. We finish up. We go shake everyone's hand. He happened to be in my eyesight, so I walked over to him. I extend my hand again. I go, hey man, great show. Good job this season. He barely shakes my hand. He doesn't look in my eyes. And he's just shaking his head back and forth, and he mutters to himself, I swear to God this happened. He mutters to himself, I can't believe that just happened. Well, I can! Always be cordial to people on the field. Always. If somebody says something to you, if someone says or does something that you don't like, I am of the perspective of not doing much of anything about it. You're only going to fuel the fires. If someone says, hey, you didn't deserve to win, or hey, you didn't deserve this, or hey, you didn't deserve that, just walk away. Don't exacerbate things. There are horror stories from the late 90s about retreats at Bands of America Houston Regional where people are total jerks to each other. People had to be restrained. Some bodily fluids may have been thrown at people. I'm not saying anything specific. I'm just saying, it's a band contest. I get that we all want to take it seriously, and I do this stupid little podcast talking about how awesome it is. But when you're doing retreat and somebody says something or acts in a classless way, just let it go. Don't try to provoke it. And he ended up shaking his head and everything, and I thought, man, and I just smiled and said, have a good season. I guess I said have a good season, even though the season was over. Oops. It's just one of those things. Not everyone's going to be a classy person in that situation. And I didn't say anything after it. I just said, hey, congratulations on a good season. That's it. Moral of the story is, don't be a jerk. It might come back to bite you in the rear end. That's all I got for now. I will see you guys in a couple of days when I can record more stuff. Got some nice stories and all sorts of opinions and all sorts of, they're mainly dumb opinions, but, whatever. What do you expect? I'm done here. Talk to you all very soon. Take care. Adios. Bye-bye.